Welcome to the Best of Sideshow Live 2018. What better way to close out the year than to celebrate some of our favorite moments? Things that made you laugh, made you cry, made you go, oh my God, that's so awesome! Big thank you to everyone who stopped by in the studio this year. Titus Welliver, Nyambi, Steve Blum, Bobby Moynihan, and everyone else. Thank you so much for coming by and hanging out with us. And big thank you to you all out there. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in 2019. Woo!
What? Dun, 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 dun. Well, Daddy.
And it is our new deluxe Jabba on the Throne 6-scale figure set.
The illustrious Jabba bids you welcome.
Oh my gosh.
So this just in, Mary Elizabeth Winstead cast as Huntress.
Holy, oh my God, for real?
For Birds of Prey, yeah.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead was cast as Huntress?
Yep.
Oh my God! We are here today with a special guest. D. Bradley Baker! Oh my God! Hey! Hi guys! Or a T-Rex. I'm not, wait, was that a T? That was like a raptor.
No, I was just clearing my sinuses.
Oh, all right, all right.
No, the eraser is your friend. I figured out all kinds. Did you just do a close-up of me?
Yeah.
Step back. Do a close-up of him. All right, thank you. That was shocking.
Well, we might as well just ask one question, just get it out the room, elephant in the room right now, okay?
Get it.
So, how many times do people mistake you for Dave Chappelle? Let us know. Let us know. We need to know that right now before we get started.
Look, my new movie, A Star Is Born, is out today. Catch me in it.
The Kickstarter for our tabletop board game, Court of the Dead Mourner's Call, has just gone live on Kickstarter.
All players have to collectively manage this meter to keep it low, and the higher it gets, the more of that etheria they're going to have to funnel up to heaven and hell to keep them distracted with their war.
A figure to control, to deploy on the board.
There it was.
Alright, thank you so
folks.
much,
Thank you,
everyone.
thank you.
We just hit our funding goal. It's time for the first installation of the Underworld games.
Floating armor, purple. Really close game.
We made Zyle proud.
That was close.
Hello everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Sideshow Live with Mr. Kevin Conroy. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, thank you.
Kevin, of course, I'm already messing up, is the definitive voice of both Batman and Bruce Wayne. So from Batman the Animated Series to the Arkham video games, he is the Bat. Yes?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So it's
Thank
such an honor for us to have you on the show. Say hello.
Hello, everybody.
Just so you guys know, we will be taking questions from the audience in a little bit, so be sure to have all of those questions for Kevin ready. But first, we have a couple that we wanted to start you out with,
Sure.
if that's okay. First of all, let's go back to the beginning.
Wow.
How did you meet Batman, and what was that first audition like?
You know, it was an amazing experience. It just doesn't happen that way because there are so many different ways to get into voiceover work.
Mm-hmm.
I was a theater actor in New York. I went to Juilliard, classic training, and thought that was going to be my life, you know. And then I realized pretty quickly that you can't make a living in the theater. You've got to supplement it with something else, you know? So I started doing television and commercial work and voiceover work in New York while I was doing plays at night. And I came to LA to do a series, a few episodes on a series, and I had a voiceover agent who said, oh, look, they're putting together a new show together at Warner Brothers. Why don't you go and give it a shot? And I said, I've never done an animated character. He said, well, just give it a shot. It's Batman. I said, new? I said, Batman's been around forever. Hasn't that show been on? I didn't even know it had never been an animated show. That's how naive I was to it. So I went in and I met Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, Andrea Romano. You know, I'm meeting the royalty.
Yes.
But everybody was in their 20s, you know, we were all kids. But I had no idea who I was meeting. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get nervous. I didn't have any apprehensions. I didn't put any tension on myself because and Bruce even said, what is your familiarity with Batman? I said, well, the only thing I know about him is really the Adam West show from the 70s. And he said, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not the direction we're going. He said, erase your mind. You know, we love Adam, but that's not what we're doing. And he explained to me that it was, you know, very film noir. It was dark. It was tragic. It was an epic story of avenging parents' death and living a dual identity in the shadows and this tragic, heroic arc. And I said, well, you're telling the Hamlet story, you know? And he said, well, no one said that before. And I said, well, let me just use my imagination. So I was in the booth with no kind of tension or apprehensions because it was all just improvising in a booth.
Wow.
And I put myself into the head of, you know, the experience of what seeing that as a child would have been like. And this sound came out. And I just started doing it. And I looked up in the booth, I could see everyone was just staring at me. And then I saw Andrea and Bruce start running back and forth. And I thought, well, I've either done something really wrong or really right. Because there's a big reaction going on in there. They either hate it or they love it. And Andrea told me later, she said, we had seen 700 people. Wow. They had been looking for months.
Oh my gosh.
But I think it was just that, you know, I just approached him the way I would approach any classic Shakespearean character or Greek. You know, he's Orestes, he's Achilles, he's Hamlet, he's a tragic, he's our culture's answer to those great mythological characters. It's exactly what Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman and all those things are contemporary mythology. It's how we teach young people about morality, you know, it's the same way the classics, the ancients did. And so I approached it with that kind of seriousness and that kind of attitude. And it's just because I think I had no preconceptions, that it was just one of those fortuitous situations where a certain actor with a certain background happens to walk into an audition that's kind of set up for him, you know, in terms of what they're looking for.
It's like your path was leading you to this room.
Exactly. I'd love to take all kinds of credit for it, but I think it was really that just paths were leading to that room. And then it was Batman the Animated Series, which was 92. And they buy things 10 episodes at a time. So we didn't know how long this was going to last. There were no guarantees that it would be more than a season. Then they buy another 10, then they buy back 9, then they buy maybe 15. And this is a bit by bit by bit. And then you're in the second season, then you're in the third season. And then they decide they're going to do Batman and Robin, you know, to new iteration. And then it's Batman Beyond. He's old Bruce Wayne, and he has to, pass the mantle on to Will Friedle. And then it was the Justice League. So it kept growing. And then the Arkham games came along. And it grew over time like that. So that you look back, everyone says, what's it like to be a part of something for 27 years? And I think, well, you don't know you're going to be a part of it for 27 years until you're in the 27th year. And then you look back and you go, wow, look what I've been a part of, It happens day by day by day, like life, You look back and you think what you've accomplished. You don't think about accomplishing it along the way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Cool. So Speaking of being in the studio and recording and everything, we read that you recorded alongside Mark Hamill in the same booth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what was that like? And just if you have any fun anecdotes about that.
Well, if you could, I wish the audience could be with Mark in the booth and see what he does. He's such a talented actor. I only knew of him from Star Wars, and Luke Skywalker was fantastic. It was wonderful. But he was like a nice young man. He was a nice young leading man. And then I got to work with him and I realized Mark is a character actor. He's really a character actor.
Okay.
And so he grew into these roles as he got older. And to watch him inhabit the Joker, he doesn't play the Joker, he inhabits the Joker. And in the booth,
kind of scary.
Well, it is, because you know how Jim Carrey has that rubbery face that just goes off? Mark has the same thing. Mark is in the booth and he's like, well, Daddy. And he's like, it becomes the Joker. Over here, that brain. And you're like, stay on that side of the booth. Just stay over there, and I'll stay over here. And you're in this tiny booth together.
Yeah.
And he's all over the place, and he's like devouring the microphone. And you think, good Lord, just get me out of here.
Are there any other male characters that you'd like to paint in the future? Since now you're getting
into...
There
are, but there's so many incredible artists that do men so well that I think that I specialize in doing the women. I mean, I could, but I just think that I always, since I relate to being a woman, I think, since I own original equipment, so I think that...
That's amazing. That you are qualified.
I am qualified.
I agree.
To know where everything goes and belongs, somewhat.
I agree.
In the area.
Joe Lombardo's asking, are there any characters or ideas or moments that you've declined to paint, and if so, why?
From Sideshow?
Or in general, did you get to a point in any painting where this idea, you just didn't want to paint it, or? Oh,
it's a 40-year career. That point has hit many times. You're just like, I can't handle this anymore. And, it just lies around until it hits the garbage or you finish it. I think that's what he was asking.
I think
I'm not
so,
sure.
too. I think that...
You can't fulfill every... spark that you think that everything's gonna, you see something, you act on it, and then it didn't work out. So I mean, it's just a very human.
Oh yeah,
thing. Yeah,
completely. Are there any characters that you felt like that with, where you started painting a specific character and then that character just disappeared for some reason?
Well, there's someone that were a great success for me, were like Harley Quinn. I didn't like the costume, but I loved her.
Yeah.
And so it took me a long time, and somebody had to talk me into more makeup on the eyes and stuff like that. And so, I mean, and then she became one of my favorites.
I love the batter up print, the one where...
The batter up and the, I forgot the name of the big portrait piece of
I love that one too. And Daddy's Little Monster.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that one, there are ones that I have to be talked through.
Yeah. We are being asked
That's Joel's job.
If Chicky can go through your garbage. Because if you throw some of these away, she just wants to go through your garbage.
Just walk around my studio desk. It's all around it.
Just like, hey, Olivia,
come on over. That'll actually
still working on this.
That'll clean up the studio so I can continue to work. We were just having this discussion on how it's piling up around me.
Interesting. Oh, this Catwoman.
Please.
Cool. Thank you.
There is a lot of that around.
That would be worth dumpster diving.
I know, right? I would totally dumpster dive for some of Olivia's originals. I've seen how much those go for online. Jamie Dewberry would like to know, what is the longest piece of work that you've left unfinished and still plan on finishing someday?
Well, that could still be sitting in my studio now. But I've had pieces where I couldn't figure out a bit of the puzzle, and so they sit around for like a year or two. Sometimes either I can't figure out, or I have to learn more in my progression that I will figure out. And then if it doesn't happen, then it just hits the garbage.
And then Chicky goes
and
through.
Chicky goes through the garbage.
And she's like, oh, awesome.
Sometimes you just have to give up on it and get moving. Sometimes I stay on pieces because I keep on them. I think I'm going to figure it all out, and then I waste a huge amount of time, and then it was better like 2 or 3 days ago. And Joel has walked in and has learned not to look anymore. He's seen some horrible things happen.
Oh no. So I guess it'd probably be different for each painting, but how do you know when it's time to move on? Do you just look at it?
He comes in and collects the painting.
When he's like,
he's just like, okay.
Done. He's like, you're done with this.
When I've exhausted the amount of problem solving, and I realize that it's going backwards instead of forwards, and I cannot do any more. This is the best I could do at this moment, and it's time to move on. And sometimes those mistakes become part of its interest.
Oh, okay.
And it's a weird thing. You kind of like keep moving.
That's awesome. Wow.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a fluid artistic process that you just keep moving. That's very...
Keep moving.
I know. I think that's awesome. Olivia, is there one work that you consider your masterpiece?
No.
No. Short
I'm
answer.
hoping that comes. I'm still working in hopes.
I feel like every single one of them is, so I can't decide.
There are so many different types of paintings that I have done over the last 40 years, but I've got a few more decades, I hope, and I'm hoping that the best is still to come. So that's what I'm working for.
Do you get asked to do lots of portraits for celebrities? Like, do celebrities ask you to do portraits for them?
I have had that happen many times.
So the answer is yes.
So what I find happens is that, oh, never mind. You know what?
I feel like there was a story that
there
just
is
got cut
a story,
off.
but it's not pretty.
Olivia, do you like to go to museums? Do you have a favorite museum, and if so, why?
I don't have a favorite. Well, we were just in New York. What was the name of that?
Noy Museum.
The what?
N-E-U, Noy Museum.
I just can't say it.
Noy?
Noy.
N-E-U, Noy Museum in New York.
It's like a New York accent. Noy Gallery in New York City. Had all the original Gustav Klimts and Egon Schiele's, and this Baroque townhouse that was just staggering to stand in a room of Klimts and
where is this in New York?
Oh, it was astounding.
Wow.
I'll give you the address, but only you.
Only me. No one else can go.
I can't show anybody else, but it's so spectacular.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
But that's one of my favorites, and I like LACMA and MoMA, and it's too many.
Yeah.
I don't get anywhere else because I'm always working. So I imagine that overseas there are some really great ones.
Mm-hmm. How easily do you correct errors in your progress, or do you have to start over every time?
No, start over. You kill me now. No. The eraser is your friend. I figured out all kinds. Did you just do a close-up of me?
Yeah.
Step back. Do a close-up of him. All right, thank you. That was shocking. Don't go there again.
Brendan.
Yeah, really. On my list.
Unbelievable, Brendan. Brett's idea.
and welcome to Sideshow Live. I don't even know what camera I'm looking at. We have amazing special guests. This is the debut of our first unveiling of the new set. We had like a little bit of a tease happen earlier this week, but we have Titus Welliver and Nyambi here. So yay, guys. How's it going? Oh my gosh. You guys are going to be my co-hosts all day, so I hope you're cool with that. Yeah?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Oh my God.
Would you be mine?
Absolutely.
Are you going to put on a cardigan and some sneakers?
And then change my sneakers.
Okay, cool.
We are missing a train set.
I know,
though
where's
John
Charlie
Wick
Charlie?
did mention that he wanted a train set, so maybe someday. Okay. Who knows?
I'm in that Ed McMahon seat, so I'm just going to be laughing all day.
Oh, all right.
We can alternate.
Yes.
Just laugh at everything she says.
Yeah, I'm pretty funny. All right, so Haley wants to know, what is each of your favorite video game of all time?
You go first.
Okay, so I was just saying this outside. The one that got me back into gaming was Metal Gear Solid.
Me too.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was the one.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we didn't even plan that. That's the truth.
But you just said you were talking about it outside.
No, not with him though.
Oh,
no.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
That was a game changer.
Keeping you guys honest.
No, I don't. I refuse to talk to him outside.
Which was weird. Yeah.
I don't want to know what you think. Do it on camera.
I mean, taking Klonopin so you can stop your hands from shaking when you're trying to snipe people.
I know.
I still dream about that.
Man,
We're talking about hours.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was like watching a long. I mean, that's the first cinematic experience I've had in gaming.
It was stunning.
Yeah,
Stunning. Cool. It's still to go back and to revisit the game, despite that the graphics now seem kind of primitive.
Yeah.
It's just the whole story, everything.
And then when I
start.
You gotta run. You gotta duck.
I wanted to have a question mark that would just pop up over my head whenever I heard something that I couldn't identify.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Metal Gear was it.
What is the one piece in your collection that you would run into a burning building to save?
Damn, it's heavy. I mean, like it's literally heavy.
Your Castle Grayskull.
Yeah. Like
the adult.
Oh my God.
Oh, I didn't get that one because I have the smaller icon versions of that. But my Pop Culture Shock Battle Cat.
Oh.
We were talking about that out there.
That one's such a great piece. And my Sideshow Harley.
So can you carry both
at
the same time?
Yeah.
I would have to.
Yeah,
I would have to.
you would have to.
I would have to.
Hulkbuster, I would. I sleep with my Hulkbuster, so it's not. I wouldn't have to run back.
You're like no wife.
Hulkbuster's like my teddy. Yeah. I'm always finding little pieces of armor under the sheets when I wake up.
Aww.
Sorry, that's too much information.
That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah, move on. Next one.
And I guess this kind of goes along with it. What is the holy grail of your figure statue, holy grail figure statue that is not in your collection?
You know the one that I loved? It was the bust that you guys did of the Joker.
Oh.
Of that crazy, that crazy one?
Yeah, the life-size bust.
Yeah, the life-size bust. That one, when I saw it, I was like, man, why didn't I pull the trigger on that one? That one's amazing. I love that one. Yeah.
The Voltron statue.
The Voltron statue.
Yeah, I got
wow.
That.
What? You got it? You have the Voltron Lego? Did you get the Voltron Lego?
No, I didn't get the Voltron Lego. Because I don't like building shit. You know, I'm sorry.
No, there's plenty of... I'm sure you got a neighbor kid. You can just be like, do me a favor.
Can you just like build this for me?
Yeah, just build
just build this Voltron. You
Get
need to go to school.
To do it while you're playing Spider-Man.
It'll take a month.
Some instructions. JJ Joe is asking each of you, if you could take one thing from the studio home with you, what would you take?
Oh, shoot. Oh, it's so much. There's so many,
I have a lot of them.
Nyambi's like, I already have most of the
I know,
stuff.
right? He's like, I have all of this at home. I don't
my house
need
is basically
anything
this studio.
So wait,
I actually live here.
We actually now film
you guys
in
need to leave
Nyambi's
it
house.
You guys.
See, all right. All right, in the studio, first of all, okay, so truth be told...
You have that Donatello.
Yeah, I do.
Right?
Truth be told, I do own a lot of the ones that back here that I would want.
And we lost Malcolm.
Bye, Malcolm. But the one that I would... I mean, as far as like the ones I have, the turtles. Turtles are the ones that I would go for. Turtles, and then of course you have the Evil Lyn, and you have the She-Ra back here. Because I'm a huge Masters of the Universe fan.
But you have those.
I have them. Damn. And
Okay, what do you want? Because you don't have something.
That Carnage and that.
Malcolm is climbing our shelves right now. He's like crawling into the shelf. Oh.
This
happened.
Take that one.
You know what?
We just got dangerous. We just got dangerous.
I mean, it's not really like in the studio, but this is kind of fire right here. This is
that belongs to Brett. So be very.
You want to put that?
Let me show.
Okay, let me tell you something. Right there.
Let me show you guys.
What I'm showing, what you're seeing right now, is why he does 6-scale figures.
Yeah.
And I do premium format.
So
I know better.
I'm gonna take this from you.
Yeah,
that belongs to someone.
She was like, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I would do that.
This already belongs.
Because
I would do that one, and then he would do. That's kind of
that's the one he's doing.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah.
Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
That's kind of
We
dope.
could get you one of those, but not Brett's.
Not that one.
Yeah,
but
that one
if
belongs
Brett's a
to
big
Brett.
thing. Brett's big.
Sorry,
on
Brett.
Brett.
Sorry, Brett was like,
Brett had a conniption.
Stop it!
We lost the feed for
Brett was like,
Brett just had a heart attack. It was like favorite character ever.
We lost the feed.
But it would be that one.
Well, it's kind of hard.
Okay.
Yeah. You'll never find another Spider-Man.
I mean,
Brett's over there.
that Carnage.
Brett took a dump.
There's a Carnage that's in there.
So this is your baby now.
This is
like it's a boy.
Planet Hulk.
That's amazing.
Alex wants to know, Donny, if you could Venomize a non-Marvel character, who would it be?
Oh, dude, that's a good question. A non-Marvel character. Man, I feel like the Joker would be a lot of fun.
Oh God!
But I suppose at that point I've just kind of like reverse engineered Carnage.
Oh yeah.
Because that's just Carnage.
Right.
Cletus Cassidy's design in the comics was supposed to look like the Joker. He was designed to look like he's just the Joker with red hair.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
But yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a Predator?
I was about to say the Predator! That'd be so sweet! Venom Predator, dude, that'd be so tight. That's a good idea.
Yeah, okay. Wow, so many questions are coming in.
Are they inappropriate?
I mean, are we allowed to ask inappropriate?
Let's do it, yeah.
No, it's, Donny, do you have any new books out today for New Comic Book Day?
Do I? Yes, I do.
I was like,
Venom's first ever annual. Venom Annual #1. The character is
Awesome.
30 years old and has never had an annual. And I know. And we get to do the first one.
Completely incorrect.
I know, it's not. It is, in fact, correct.
I mean, I believe you. You're the...
Yeah, featuring stories by myself and Venom's actual real father, David Michelini.
Wow.
Which is incredible for me to like be able to share a book that I have my names next to his. It's insane.
Is that like inner child?
It's bizarre. If I think about it for too long, I'll freak out. There's also a cover by Bill Sienkiewicz, which is incredible. It's really, really fun. I got to do, I did like the framing sequence of it and everything. It's really fun. So check that out.
That's amazing.
I think that's all I have out.
That's amazing.
Today. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow. There's a lot of really good questions. Okay. Hey, Donny, if you could have any Marvel character wear a symbiote suit, who would you pick?
Well, that's an interesting question because
I feel like it's worded very specifically.
Part of the Bible that I built for the Venom series was that we're going to stop giving the symbiote to other characters.
Really?
I feel like it's always fun when characters get a symbiote because they get to essentially create a new toy.
Okay,
right?
I kind of liked Gwenom, not gonna lie.
Gwenom's great,
Gwenom was
absolutely, but it should be a big deal when Eddie loses his symbiote. When Hal Jordan has his ring fall off or his ring gets taken away, it's a big deal, right? And so every time you take away Eddie's symbiote and put it back on him, that beat gets less. And it's what it makes Eddie special, and the character is Eddie, not the symbiote. And so when you're attempting to build Eddie as a character, you kind of have to give him what makes him special. So my answer is no one slash Miles. I want to give Miles the symbiote eventually.
Well, that makes complete sense.
It does. A symbiote killed his mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has.
Can affect.
Yeah, I put Miles in the first arc. There's a beat where Eddie says, I don't know if I killed your mom or not, but if I did, you and I can settle up later. And they never settled up. So pay attention to that beat because I'm not done with that.
I like legit got goosebumps. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, oh my God, I would love to see Miles. Oh my God. Wow. This is interesting. JJ wants to know, does Donny believe in ghosts?
In ghosts? Well, that's a bit of a point of contention in my household. My beautiful girlfriend,
who we can see off camera
off camera, very much does believe in ghosts. I very much do not. We were in Scotland and we went on a ghost tour kind of a thing.
In
we went
Edinburgh?
In Edinburgh. We went to the Necropolis.
The one in the vault?
Yeah.
That was Glasgow.
It was Glasgow?
Oh,
okay.
okay.
We went to Edinburgh and did a thing, right?
In the
a
vault?
ghosty thing?
Oh, we went to the Greyfriars Kirkyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was like, we shouldn't go near that one because I've heard that he's a mean ghost and that
The one that slaps you.
Yes.
I went on that tour.
Yes,
So
you know,
what I did was I started screaming at that ghost to do something. I was like, try something, bro. Come on, dude, let's do this. And he didn't do shit. So I don't buy it.
You have to, if you go back to Edinburgh, you have to go on the ghost tour of the vaults because it's a ghost tour in pitch black.
Oh.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Yeah.
Well, she brings her little, what is it called?
EMT readers.
Her little EMT readers. And there's a story that I'll tell off camera because I can't say what it said.
Oh yeah, it's very inappropriate.
We were maybe making out on a tomb, and her reader went off, and it said a horrible thing.
Upset with us.
It was really upset. Yeah,
Wow.
was not into it.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
One more is, Donny, are you a fan of the X-Men, and who is your favorite mutant?
That's a bad question. You should.
I know, right?
Am I a fan of the X-Men? Yeah, of course I'm a fan of the X-Men. Totally. My favorite X-Man.
Or woman.
Or woman, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like Maggot a lot. Is that a popular? I'm sure everyone always says Maggot.
No, my favorite is, so we had a discussion in our office, and this is why I'm like Donny, you and Megan can just like come hang in our office anytime because you fit right in. We had like a discussion like who has the worst mutant power, and what would the worst mutant power be? Like Kitty was very much like, no, it's the guy who can explode once and only once, and then everyone was like, Maggot. So it's hilarious that you picked Maggot as your favorite.
Maggot's great.
So yeah.
Well, I will say a close follow-up is Gambit, but not for any reason. I'm going to tell him. So I'm going to tell him this. So I was an intern at Marvel in like 2010, and when you're an intern, it's equal parts being incredibly busy and overworked, and also bored out of your mind sometimes. When they don't have work for you, you can't go anywhere, and so but you're not useful in any capacity whatsoever. So we just started this game where it came up in a conversation one day that we thought that Gambit would be, as a character, improved by 1,000% if he said his name every time he threw something. If he was like, Gambit, right? And so we started just doing that around the offices. So we'd like, can I have these?
Yeah, of course.
So we would just walk around, and it evolved. We would like get like playing cards, and we'd be like, Gambit, right? And it just evolved into this thing that it just got massively out of hand. It came to a head. We were told to stop officially by Tom Brevoort because my buddy got a ream of printer paper, and I was coming out of Brevoort's office, and he threw an entire ream of paper at me and went, Gambit! And then I left because I was mortified, and I came back like 10 minutes afterwards, and he was just on the floor going like, cleaning it all up. And so, to this day, you should also try it at home. Try just screaming the word Gambit.
You just gave us a new game to play in the office.
My claim to fame is that I gambited it into the Grand Canyon. Now, that might sound a lot like I littered into a national monument, but that's not true. That piece, that playing card was there when I got there. It was already on the ground. But there is a video of me gambiting into the Grand Canyon.
Oh my
Maybe I'll put it
God.
up on Twitter.
You should,
after this.
as a follow-up.
Yeah, but sincerely, anytime you get a chance, just pick some shit up and throw it and scream Gambit. You'll feel good about yourself.
You just gave us a new game.
Yeah. Gambit.
Until we get banned. Yeah, I was like, until we knock over a prototype that only exists with one.
That's gonna happen, dude. You can't Gambit once without it getting out of control. It's never gone well,
So it's
ever.
one of those things we can't start, like, don't start
Don't
the Gambit
start
unless you're
Gambit.
planning
Yeah.
on finishing it.
You goddamn right. Yeah.
Basically, everyone says, don't ask Donny any more questions, just let him tell stories forever.
Ah, man. Yeah, I wish that we had more time. I'd tell my John Wick stories so people will stop asking me. I met John Wick's horse, kind of, and I got a whole thing
Yeah,
about
you actually need to tell this story.
Okay,
and this is
can I
in
please
closing.
tell this story in closing?
In closing.
Okay, I have to tell this story because here's the thing. I messed up because I told people on Twitter to come and ask me about this story. But so this is official. I'm never telling this story ever again. This is the last time I'm ever telling this
Exclusive
story.
last story.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for reasons that I can't really talk about, like a long time ago, not a long time ago, like a year ago, I had a meeting with Keanu Reeves for a project that never happened, but it was a lovely meeting, and he's a great dude, and we got along like a house on fire, except for the last like 60 seconds that we were together. Okay. So, perhaps spoilers for John Wick 3 that's not out yet. Man, should I do this? Should I do this? So there's set photos that already came out that show him on a horse. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying too much, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I might get in trouble for this.
Set photos on a horse. We're going to go with
Okay.
Yeah,
So
those exist. We've seen them.
I'm waiting for my car. And Keanu comes out and he's standing with me and we're outside. And I say, so hey, you told me that you're about to go film something. What are you filming? And he said, well, I'm gonna go film John Wick 3. And I was like, oh, word, John Wick 3. And so I was like, man, are you doing a lot of training right now? Because I saw that video of you doing like the gun training and everything. And he was like, yeah, I actually right now I'm doing a lot of horse training. And I was like, dude, I don't even know what that means. And he was like, well, have you seen John Wick 2? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, well, you know, at the end of John Wick 2, John is in Central Park and he's surrounded by assassins. And I was like, yeah, totally. And he's like, well, in John Wick 3, I can't do it without doing his voice. He's like, well, in John Wick 3, John steals a horse. And we found a horse that can punch. So here's pausing this story. The thing you have to understand about Keanu Reeves is he's an incredibly energetic human being and he acts out everything. So like when he was telling the stories about like the thing that he wanted me to write for him and everything, he would like stand up in the room and do karates. He would be like, so, ha, 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 ha. And like I had to have freaked out because Neo was doing karate for me.
Some of the Sideshow staff went to his training facility at one point, and it like he
does it.
Ripped and he's crazy.
He's super into
It's awesome. Like he's cool.
I don't want any of this story to ever sound like I'm making fun of him.
No,
because he's the greatest human being who's ever lived.
So amazing.
So he acts everything out, and so I was like, so he said that they found a horse that can punch. This is exactly how he did it, and I was like, man, I don't know what that means, Keanu. And he was like, well, you know how a horse can kick? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And he was like, well, the assassins are coming at John, and John is shooting, and John is punching, and John is kicking, and the horse is kicking, but the horse is also punching. And I was like, man, that's crazy, Keanu. That's a crazy thing you said out loud. And I was like, I don't know what that means, homie. And then so me trying to be funny, I made this joke. I said, man, I bet John Wick's gonna be so pissed off when they kill that horse, right? To which a horrific silence fell over me and Keanu. And he looked at me and he goes, why would they kill the horse? And I was like, well, because there's assassins everywhere, man. They're shooting at him and shit, you know? And he just looked at me like I was like a Martian. He looked at me and he goes, but they're not trying to kill the horse, Donny. They're trying to kill John Wick. And that's how my meeting with Keanu ended. On that like super awkward note. I was like, okay, man, sorry.
Oh my God.
That's the end. And so when those set pictures came out of him on a horse, I was like, I fucking know that horse. I know that horse. That horse can punch. So I guess spoiler alert for John Wick 3, that horse punches.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't even do my normal wrap up that I do. I should just end the show right here, right now with that. Just like horse punch.
Gambit and horse punch.
Gambit. We should gambit while horse punching.
Yes.
And that's the show.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us with special guest co-host Donny Cates. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello everyone and welcome to Sideshow Live. It is Spooktacular, and as you all know, anything can happen during Spooktacular. So, I'm just gonna pause right now and just make you guys stare at me for 20 minutes. No, we have a very, very special guest, and then that special guest brought a special guest. So we're like kind of inception on the special guests happening right now. So, without further ado, can we go to our wide shot? We have special guests.
It's a Spooktacular.
It's Bobby Moynihan and Eli Newell.
We did it.
Yay! We surprised them. So Bobby's been a longtime friend of Sideshow. We adore him, but this is his first time on the show.
Yeah, this is my first time on the show. Me and Eli have come down here. We came down here a while ago and did a little tour. And
Yes.
nice enough to meet you guys. And then I met you at
In
Comic-Con.
New York,
and here we are.
And now that's the story.
In the middle of a Spooktacular.
And it's the backstory for what is about to happen, which I'm sure is going to be completely insane. So, Bobby, of course, for those of you who maybe don't know him, he's a Saturday Night Live legend. He is a voice actor from DuckTales, which I like. That's my personal geek out. DuckTales.
I can tell.
I was like, I love DuckTales so much.
It's so good. They did such a good job
so
on it.
And then your Louie is so amazing. But we'll
Thank
get
you.
into that. We'll get into that later. But most recently, you were announced as the voice of Orca in Star Wars Resistance for Disney Channel and Disney Channel HD. Woo! It's so exciting. And then Eli is a comedian.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah. So he's a comedian. Also, rather fittingly for Spooktacular, we have to talk about David S. Pumpkins.
Okay.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
you know.
We created Santa Claus for Halloween.
I
Yeah.
know. Oh my
David S. Pumpkins. Can you believe that that's still a thing that people know?
First off, okay, you should know this. Something that we do every year during Spooktacular is we do soul collecting, which is basically what would you do for a Sideshow figure. Last year, someone sold their soul by, like, their trade-off was that they would dress up as David S. Pumpkins and their two children would be the beatbox skeletons, and they recreated all of your dance moves. So we'll have to show that to you, and they totally won a Sideshow figure from doing that.
That seems like a good prize. That seems like a great prize.
It was
I like that.
spectacular.
I also love that everyone calls them the beatbox or beat boy skeletons. Because it's just a line because in my mind we gave them names when we wrote the sketch.
They had names.
They had names and it all got cut.
Because Kate McKinnon said that in the.
She calls them. Yeah, like
so, she's like B-boy skeletons, part of it.
I think
like,
she says B-boy, but people have turned it into Beat Boy, which really makes me laugh. Their names were like Tommy. Oh, it was Tommy Lee Bones. I was Tommy Lee Bones, I believe, and the other one was Oprah. For no reason whatsoever. And I think we were called the Skeletones.
That's amazing.
Originally, and it got cut. So that
so now they're the
they're the Beat Boy Skeletons.
That's
But their real names are Tommy Lee Bones and Oprah.
So
in my mind, at least.
Yeah. Well,
right.
Yep. I love it. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Now I'm going to call them that because those are way better names.
I think so too. Call them whatever you want. I'm listed on IMDb as Fat Skeleton, which I put there.
That's amazing. So, like, how did you even come up with something like that? Because it's so random.
It really was random. I think that's what it was. I think it was Mikey Day and I, and we were just sitting there trying to come up with. I think like the goal was try and write something that'll repeat every Halloween, and then we started talking about how there was no Santa Claus for Halloween, so we thought who would be who would be this thing. Oh no, originally we saw I've told this story a million times. We saw, you ever see that video of the Indian fellow dancing? They keep pressing the music and he starts dancing. When the music stops, he stops dancing. We were watching that. And we were like, we want to do that. How do we do it? And like something Halloween. So we were going to be skeletons that like popped out of coffins and just did this weird dance. And then it just weirdly 4 o'clock in the morning somehow. And he was like, what if Tom Hanks was a guy named David Pumpkins? And I was like, I'm listening. And I think I said it has to be David S. Pumpkins.
Yeah, you guys.
It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. Complete nonsense. And the whole joke was that it was complete nonsense and that Tom Hanks committed so hard.
Oh.
And really made the whole thing.
And your dance moves are epic.
Thanks.
Yeah. All like.
Were you talking to me or him?
I was talking to Eli.
Oh, he has amazing dance
He does
moves.
have amazing
I happen to dance in the David Pumpkins thing.
So I understand the confusion.
Is that why I'm here?
Yes.
I don't know, but we'll
see. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just a couple questions that we have. So Bobby, we hear that you're a big comic book collector.
Who told you this?
He did.
Oh, smart. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't really. I'm a weird comic collector.
All right, go on.
I have 13 toes. No, I was never like, when I was a kid, it wasn't like, oh, I got to get this kind of comic or this. I like to draw. So like I would get like, I love Jim Lee. So it's like I got all of whatever Jim Lee did, anything that he drew, I had.
And he's not really that known.
I don't know if he's familiar in the comic book world. I think he did one or two.
He's done a couple characters.
He did Garfield.
Yes, he did Garfield. Then he moved on to Kathy.
Correct. Smart.
Oh, I love Kathy.
Kathy's good.
Yeah.
I think he also did a lot of X-Men.
Yes, X-Men and Batman.
Correct. So I really liked him.
Which are basically the Kathy and Garfield of DC and Marvel.
Everyone says that. Everyone says that. J. Scott Campbell, I was a huge fan of. Yes. So like I collected like that, like a lot of that. Arthur Adams, I was huge into. So that's awesome. A lot of. That's how I collected comic books. So I didn't necessarily read them. I would draw them. And then read them like a month later.
I stack mine until it's a full story arc, and then I read the full story arc because I'm a binge person. Like I binge watch stuff.
I was gonna say that's like the physicalization of binge watching a television show, which I enjoy.
Yes,
I might start doing that with food. Just make a big old pile of food in the middle of the room.
I believe Andy did that yesterday.
You did.
We had a really good Stonefire Grill catering to us yesterday. So we had you had 2 plates of food and you finished one and you ate the other. Yeah, that's binge food.
Yeah, I like that. It's a good way to live.
So, what are some of your personal favorite comic books?
Good Lord. I like comic book artists, but like specific comic books, like now I'm kind of remembering like, I don't know why this popped into my head. Do you remember the Max?
Yeah, Max imprint from
like
Marvel?
I remember getting that and being like, oh, I like this. And like going through that.
My favorite character came out of Max. And it was X-23 because she was
I didn't realize. Is it just Max or the Max?
Well, I mean, now
Max was that the store
with the yellow gloves with a big spike on it?
Yeah, he looked like weird hair.
Oh, you're talking. I always thought you were talking about the Marvel Max imprint label that was like the sub brand of Marvel in the 90s.
We're thinking of 2 different things.
I think we're thinking of 2 different things, but since we're live on the internet, let's take our time.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Are you a fan of the Max?
Sure.
That's the correct answer. So it's also fair to say that you're quite a Star Wars fan as well. Yes?
Him or...
I mean, are you a Star Wars fan? Bobby, are you a Star Wars fan?
I am a Star Wars fan. I've loved it my whole life.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
And you're also pretty well known for a very specific SNL
Yeah, I in my time on SNL, I was lucky enough to get to write a bunch of fun Star Wars stuff with Mikey Day and Taron Killam.
Oh my God.
We wrote
Matt the radar technician.
Matt the radar technician, undercover boss.
It was absolutely. When that came out, I can tell you every single one of my office mates, because I actually had them at the time. I probably drove them all away by playing that script on repeat, or that sketch. That whole sketch was just constantly on repeat.
I will say it's one of my favorite things I did there. Adam Driver was easily maybe the best host, my favorite host.
Great.
Like he was
this
just on board
too.
for that. Yeah. He's amazing, and also one of the only things that I still consistently watch.
Yes.
From SNL. Like every once in a while I go like, I gotta see that again. And they put I forgot that they put out the behind the scenes, like all the extra stuff. So I got to watch that again recently and went like, oh yeah.
I love it. And oh my.
I have, you know what I have that I'll never be allowed to put it out there. When we did we did the auditions, the Star Wars auditions for Force Awakens, and I got to do George Lucas with John Boyega, and I have 40 minutes of just me improvising with John Boyega as George Lucas. 40 minutes. It's my favorite thing in the world. I shouldn't even say that. I stole it. And it's my favorite thing in the world to watch.
So cool.
It's bonkers. No one will ever see it.
That's amazing.
No one will ever see it unless like they're at my house for Christmas.
I really want to know though if Taron Killam still has the card that Matt made him.
I believe he does. We kept a lot of stuff. I have. Was the R2D2 in that sketch? No, we used it in other ones. I have the full-size R2D2 from the Marvel, like when we did Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was like Marvel Star Wars, and I was Boba Fett with the long hair.
Yes, I remember.
That R2D2 was mine. It was something that I had built it from a kit, and then brought it to SNL, and they put lights and sounds and everything. Lights and sounds in it. Yeah. But I have a Kylo Ren helmet signed by Matt the radar technician. I have a couple.
Even BB-8's doing it.
Yeah, he does. I have one of my most distinct memories from shooting that was him standing there, just standing at the camera, and then me and Mikey behind the camera going like, "Do a thumbs up," and he just went. And the way, like it was just the way his hand settled. It's my favorite. He's the he's the funniest and nicest dude in the world.
That's amazing.
He's a really good guy.
That's awesome. Do you have any experience with Adam Driver?
No.
All right. And so you're also a collector as well, which we've also seen.
I'm sorry, him or me?
You.
Oh, yes, I am.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and we've seen that in SNL during.
Yeah, that collector sketch.
Is that based on anything?
It's based on the case that's in the thing is all my stuff from home because we couldn't buy.
Is it really?
Yeah, pretty much, and that was when I didn't really have some good stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they were like, we can't go out and buy original Kenner action figures because it's too expensive, and I was like, just send a truck to my house, and they did. And a lot of that stuff in that case is my stuff from home, and a lot of the stuff that was just in the case is now at my home.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Oh my god! I saw in the monitor. I thought there was a man. I thought there was a man coming for real.
Yeah.
These guys cannot figure out how to get in.
No, they can't. Only Eli figured out how to get in.
Yeah, we came as a group. And I don't know.
These guys?
That's the rest of the cast of DuckTales out there.
Yeah, that's Ben. That's Danny. That's Topes. That's David. Everybody's here.
Yeah, everybody's here.
They'll get in. We'll get them.
Yeah, for sure. So
glad you got in though.
Yeah, we're very happy you're here, Eli. So Star Wars Resistance.
Yes.
How does that feel to be a canonical character in the Star Wars universe?
It's crazy. It's great. It's absolutely insane.
Your character is so cute.
Thank you. And we look exactly alike.
I can't wait to meet him because he's
you
like.
kind of have.
But
we look like Flix and Orca a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
I don't
know. So how did it feel to walk in and do a recording of a character that was going to be a part of the Star Wars universe?
Insane. It was that. It was insane. I had known about that for a long time, but we weren't allowed to say anything. So it's like when I finally got to say something about it, it was the best. But yeah, I mean, like it makes no sense. I've spent my life being a fan of things, and I think it is in some great way paid off now. And like it's wonderful to be able to contribute to something you love so much.
That's how I feel about working.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
and this place is like the coolest place in the world. I've done a couple Pixar movies, and like that complex, and it's so just all about creativity and wonderful. And this place is exactly the same.
Yeah. I feel like
a very special
we need
place.
to when you open the door with the "Come with me" and you'll see.
Yes,
like that should just start playing every time when you open the doors.
I agree. Copyright.
Yeah, I'm
Copyright
sorry.
infringement.
I didn't sing enough of it. I don't think.
When we came here today, Gene Wilder himself opened the door and sang to us, but it was a completely different song. It was something. It's Michael Jackson's "Beat It," I think, which is odd because he was telling us to come in. Oh.
Yep.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
So, for all of you watching out there, if you guys haven't already been throwing questions for Bobby and Eli into the chats, now is the time where you can start, because we have a short video break, and when we come back, see this little BB-8 figure that's been hanging out the whole show? This little BB-8 right here? Well, Bobby's going to be giving away 3 BB-8s.
I'm coming to your house today.
Well, they probably won't make it all the way.
I'm coming to your house.
Oh, Bobby's
today.
going to your house. Eli's going to your house.
I mean, I'm his ride.
So, Eli's going to your house to drop off your BB-8s that will all be here today. I'm not sure how we're making that happen, except that,
Santa Claus technology.
David S. Pumpkins technology.
That's
since
true.
It's Halloween season.
He has he drives a huge strawberry.
That's true.
Which is a real thing.
Yes, because there was the follow-up cartoon, and I was watching it going like, I thought that this couldn't get more absurd.
Yeah,
and
no. What you needed was a follow-up cartoon for more questions.
Yes, for more
questions, no answers is what we should have called it.
So, as David S. Pumpkins would say, any questions?
There you go.
For Bobby, after the short video break, we'll be right back. And again, we're here with Bobby Moynihan and Eli Newell. You're watching Sideshow Live. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back to Sideshow Live. We're here with Bobby Moynihan and Eli Newell. Both of them are comedians. Both of them are amazing. Eli followed Bobby into the studio and is having a really great time talking all about his fandoms and the things that he likes in our office.
I haven't said any of that.
So right now we're taking questions from the audience, and just so you know, you better ask some pretty great questions, because Bobby's going to be choosing his 3 favorite questions to take home these BB-8 6-scale figures right here. From
And
Hot
all you
Toys.
other people who answer questions, those questions were terrible.
Yeah.
No,
So-
they were great questions. I wish
They're
I had
all
more
really good
BB-8s to
questions.
give everybody.
We could give them to everyone. So the first question is, Bobby Moynihan, who was your favorite SNL actor before you were on the show?
I'm having fun right now playing with little BB-8. Who was my favorite on SNL? Wow. I think Chris Farley was pretty huge. Phil Hartman. But I think, I think Maya Rudolph is one of the funniest people in the world.
Oh my God.
Fred Armisen. I think Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen together can heal everything. I think Cecily Strong's one of the funniest people in the world. She's really, really talented.
Oh my God. Her like
Tina Fey and Amy.
Cecily Strong.
Cecily Strong's the best.
And her
One of the best
girl
females
you
ever.
don't want to talk to
Talk
at a party. I can't stop laughing at that because I feel like everyone knows that girl.
Her character Gemma, she did so many amazing. I think she's one of the best females ever. On
Oh
the
my
show.
gosh.
Actually, best one of the people ever. On the show.
So good. So there. For Eli, Billa Hecka would like to know, Eli, do you like stuff?
Yeah, I like some stuff.
Do you dislike other stuff? Awesome. For Bobby,
yes.
Have you ever had a Star Wars action figure of a character that you play?
Well, I played Chewbacca, so yes. No, not yet. But now
you're hoping for.
Yeah,
And how will that feel? Do you think?
I will implode from the inside.
And that will be
just
the end
this
of
morning,
Bobby.
I saw a picture online of like the first wave of figures for Star Wars Resistance, and I saw the packaging for the first time, and it might be like my favorite packaging in Star Wars
Are
history.
you biased?
No.
Oh, really?
No, I think I'm really
Okay.
honest with myself.
Okay.
And I think that I think it's personally to me, it's my favorite Star Wars pack. If they were like from now on, this is the package Star Wars stuff comes in, I'd be like, you got it right.
Really?
Yeah, I just loved it. It's have you not seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, so
I'll
I
show
know.
you in a couple minutes.
All right, sounds good.
Cool. It's amazing. But no, I don't know if I would be able to handle that. I also play a couple different characters on Resistance. Like in the pilot, I'm like the weird goat guy at the bar. It's like I'm doing pretty much just doing Jim Brewer as Go Boy. It's my homage to Jim Brewer. I play a stormtrooper. I don't know if I'm allowed. I think I'm allowed to say that. I play a stormtrooper at some point coming up, and like it's the craziest thing. Technically, I have a Star Wars action figure because they have a stormtrooper.
And you have been a stormtrooper.
And I have been a stormtrooper before.
Times.
Yeah, hopefully someday Matt will be canon.
I really hope that's true. Oh my
Someday.
God. So Joe Goodberry would like to know. Question.
Joe. I know Joe.
You do?
No, I don't know Joe.
All right, cool. Do you know Joe?
I know a Joe.
Yep. So candy corn, best or worst?
Worst. Joe, you get yourself a BB-8.
Awesome, Joe. Joe Goodberry gets a BB-8. Congratulations, Joe. Woo! So, how do they claim these BB-8s, by the way? Is it the traditional way?
You got to break into this room through this window.
So Joe better come bursting through like the Kool-Aid Man.
That's everybody
in
who's
the next
won a gift.
5 minutes.
That's everybody who's won a gift
Joe.
before, and they can't get in here.
So Joe, go ahead and email social at Sideshow. Subject line: Bobby gave me BB-8.
Sounds like a disease.
Well, you've actually worked with someone who voiced BB-8, like, because didn't Ben Schwartz have something?
I think he was inside it.
Ben.
No, I'm just kidding.
But Ben Schwartz is one of, and I guess Bill Hader too.
Yeah, I've worked with everyone.
Whoa!
I've worked with everyone
Why did
who
that
makes
just occur to
BB-8
me?
sounds.
On BB-8.
Yeah. It's in my contract.
You're like, I have to work with
anyone who makes robot sounds.
Sweet. That's amazing.
It's fun. It's a smart thing. I don't work a lot.
That's awesome. So, Bobby, what skit on SNL was your favorite to be a part of? And then they wrote, aside from David S. Pumpkins.
Wow. David S. Pumpkins, I remember there's a couple sketches in my time there that there's a lot of stuff I don't remember now, and which is weird to me because I remember my first day meeting Fred Armisen and being like, you did this sketch where you played a parrot once. He was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I remember going home like, how dare he? How dare he not remember? Like, that's Saturday Night Live. You should remember every single second. And now I'll be watching a repeat and I come into a sketch. And I'm like, hey, I guess I was in that. And I have no idea. But there are certain sketches that, like, for some reason, I don't know why, I have complete cognitive memory of being there and also being very present in the time that they were happening. David Pumpkins is definitely one of them. It was like the most fun I've ever had during a sketch was that sketch because Tom Hanks kind of wasn't having it and thought it was ridiculous, but he's so nice and so wonderful that like he was just doing it to have fun. And I just remember being like, God, he's the best and this is fun and it's Halloween and like it didn't matter if it went well. We were just having a good time and then it became what it did. So that was awesome. And I also feel like maybe that's why. It's because we were having such a good time. The Beyonce sketch, I wrote that Beyonce sketch with John Lutz where it was all the backup dancers for Beyonce. Like that one really sticks out to me. I remember very vividly being there present for that one. Oh gosh, there's so many. Yeah, there's all.
What did I tell you?
I know that. That's insane. This is I slipped something into her coffee.
I told him before the show that like if I start crying, it's because I'm happy. That I cry about everything. So like
I like that. I did not know you were serious.
And now he knows I'm serious. You serious?
What kind of question is that?
Wow. So, Eli, there's actually a question for you that came through. What is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. There's so many.
Get out of this.
There's a lot of movies.
You know, it's all about the human experience and how the art touches you. And so I have to go with Stuart Little too, probably.
Give him a BB-8.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's got to be for a BB-8.
Yeah,
Yep.
Who sent that
Who
question?
said, Sam, who said that question?
A guy named Eli.
A guy named Eli. A guy named Eli.
Thank you.
You won! Congrats!
Did you ask your own question?
Huh?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
So Eli, go ahead and email social@sideshow.com with your subject line, Eli gave me BB-8. Or Bobby, yeah, Eli gave me BB-8. And, Bobby.
Yes, that's
Greg
me.
Clark would like to know, what is...
Greg Clark?
Yeah,
Isn't he in Marvel's Avengers?
Clark Gregg.
Oh,
This is the opposite of him. Yeah.
I am dumb.
Yeah. Bobby, what is scarier, aliens or ghosts?
It's definitely.
Wow. What did you say? He said there's a definite answer to that. I think that's a bold statement.
I'm convinced that it is Clark Gregg now.
Oh, I think it is Clark Gregg.
He's trying to fool
and
us.
I think he is both an alien and a ghost. He is a dead alien. No,
That's true.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he is. Gosh, what is scarier, aliens or ghosts? Aliens are not from here, so they may be nice, but they also may want something.
Mhm.
And ghosts are dead people who either got killed in a happy way or in a sad way or a mean way.
Mhm.
God, who's meaner? Who's meaner?
No, who's scarier?
Oh, scarier.
Who's scarier?
Good, because dead ghosts are meaner. But scarier, I'm gonna go with ghosts, just because they've already been here and left, so maybe they know stuff. But aliens are just showing up here, so I got home game. I'm home turf.
Oh, I never thought of it that way. I
Yeah.
always thought of aliens as scarier. Mostly
Yeah, if
'cause
aliens came to get me, I would know where to go. But if a ghost came and got me, he
Where
might
would
be
you
able
go?
to.
Where would you go?
I would go to space to freak them out.
That is amazing. This is another question for Bobby. Kelly Clark wants to know, is Kelly Clark...
Kelly Clarkson from Marvel's? No, just kidding.
Kelly Clark says, what is the weirdest thing someone has ever asked you to autograph?
Wow, I don't get asked a lot. I feel like, I was gonna say someone asked me to sign a Viking helmet once, but I think it was for a charity.
Oh, okay.
I actually know the answer for Blum.
You know his answer?
Yeah.
You know something?
Well, rude.
Oh,
Wow.
rude. I'm so sorry.
He's a guest.
That's true.
On your show. Rude.
Shame. I need the shame bell now. Shame. Shame.
Somebody one time pulled out a sample piece of laminate flooring for you to sign.
I do remember that now.
Yeah.
That was Whoopi Goldberg.
Was it
No,
really?
no, no.
Oh, I was like, because that makes it normal?
No, I remember that.
This guy had a bunch of headshots and he didn't have yours, and so he pulled out this piece of laminate flooring.
I'm so confused by
True
this.
story.
It's a true story.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, people. I had a woman come. I was online. I think it was like at a Converse outlet, and I was buying a pair of sneakers, and the guy at the counter, I gave him my credit card, and he went, "It is you," and I thought that was really scary and weird because he looked at my credit card and said that, and he asked for a picture, and I was like, "Sure, why?" Because I'm an idiot. And then the person behind me tapped me on the shoulder and went, "Who are you?" And I went, "My name's Bobby," and she went, "You signed the receipt?" And I was like, I'm not signing my receipt, my credit card receipt, and giving it to you. But I did. No, I didn't.
Oh.
I did not. I did not.
And then she stole your identity.
I did not. Yeah. and that's who she is. And she's here right now.
And now she...
Yep.
And then you
This
guys
is a very
said,
elaborate
what's
makeup.
scarier, aliens or ghosts? And the answer is actually people.
It's true. The answer is people. And thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Ian S. Thompson. Bobby, if you could vacation on any planet in the Star Wars galaxy, which planet would you choose?
Endor, maybe out of nostalgia. But, I mean,
You
that's just like the woods. I mean, you could do that anywhere.
It's like
could
you
do
just
that here.
became like Andy's best friend.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. He's all about the murder bear.
Team Space Bear.
Murder bear, yeah. People eaters. They eat people. Ewoks. There's so many great. I mean, they're all fantastical, amazing places. I'll go to. I want to go to Mustafar, see Vader's castle.
I mean, that would be cool, but I get...
It would be hot.
It'd be really hot.
Yeah, I know, but like if you're gonna go...
That's true. If you're gonna go,
you know
you
what I
might as
mean?
well stop by.
Yeah.
See the sights.
Yeah, I guess there's any place I would go because it's all insane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd go to... Where's the Gungans from? What is it?
The Gungans? They're from Naboo, yeah?
Right, Naboo. But they're underwater.
They're
in
underwater.
Naboo.
But yeah,
I don't know.
Naboo is just the Palace of Fine Arts.
Inner ear problems. I don't know if I'd be able to handle it too well.
But then Jedi would give you that space bubble thing.
I'd go to Naboo because I just want to use that thing. Good call.
Wow.
Where would you go? I don't even know why I asked. Never mind.
There's a lot of questions coming in. Scott Keltner would like to know, Bobby, which comedians do you take inspiration from when you write your material?
I don't know. All of them?
All of them.
I take inspiration from. I don't know. I'm bad at comedy writing. I tend to go like, what's this weird thing I want to dress up as this week, or like, well, some weird thing.
I mean, that's pretty great.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, like I grew up on like Mr. Show and SNL and stuff like that. Right now, I mean, like everyone's great. Detroiters is like the best show on television, I think. Detroiters, you not watch it?
I don't watch it.
Funniest thing in the world.
Where is it?
It's on TV.
On TV?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's on the television.
So like that big box?
Yeah, turn it on. It'll be there.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, cool.
I'll see you later. Bye. No, it's on Comedy Central. Tim
awesome.
Robinson, Sam Richardson.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's really amazing.
Oh,
really
the
funny
Detroiters?
show. Detroiters.
Detroiters, just
Yeah.
Detroiters. Okay, that's awesome. I'm gonna check that out.
You should.
Chris Stryle would like to know, Eli and Bobby, if you switched bodies for a day and they made a movie about it, what would that movie be called?
The number 10. Because look at us. We look like the number 10 when we sit next to each other. No, I don't know. Do you have a title?
I think that'd be kind of weird.
That's the title of the movie. I think that would be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, weirdly enough, the first thing we say to each other when we switch bodies.
Yeah.
It's the trailer's just a big record scratch, and he goes, "This is gonna be kind of weird."
And then the title comes
and then
up.
it just says,
rated PG-13.
No, rated hard R.
Hard R. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Remember, you have one more BB-8 that you can give away. And I remind you of this because the question that just came through is, Eli, are you Ryan Gosling's brother?
You think that's okay?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be kind of mad.
No, he's not.
Okay.
But that was an amazing question.
But don't. He thinks we are.
Oh.
He thinks we are. Yeah.
Oh.
This
So
isn't
maybe
live, is it?
Maybe the audience shouldn't repeat.
I mean,
that.
he's not watching.
He's not watching.
He's probably watching.
Because he's a really famous movie star.
Brian Gosling's probably
Yeah.
at home watching the Sideshow show. I'm 99% sure.
I've been meaning to talk to him about this.
I talk to him every morning, every night before I go to bed.
They've been texting the whole time we've been doing this show.
Hold on, he's texting me right now. I get it on the inside of my glasses.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said he said he did not. He's crying.
Oh.
He's crying because he just found out that.
But like sad crying.
like not.
As opposed to really happy crying.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or any other crying that
Correct.
I might
Yes,
be
yes,
doing
yes, yes, yes.
at any moment.
Thanks a lot.
So really,
So I guess
Dan,
you get a BB-8.
Yeah, Dan. Even though you ruined Ryan Gosling's day and life, you get a BB-8. So that's your consolation prize.
So,
So Dan,
half a dozen ones.
Dan the Dynamic Menace, is that his name for real?
Yeah.
All right, Dan the Dynamic Menace.
Maybe we're taking this back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's a fantastic name.
I don't know. I'm kind of walking into.
It's his name and job description. So there you go. Your subject line will be
both Eli and Bobby gave me BB-8.
Ryan Gosling's not brother.
Yeah, Ryan.
I gotta make some calls, man.
Social at
I'm sorry.
He's probably
sideshow.com.
freaking out.
I feel like this is
Yeah.
bad for you.
So one more question, Bobby.
Yes.
Which Muppet is the coolest Muppet?
Gonzo.
Yep. Though someone named Titus wants you guys to all know that he thinks Eli is hotter than Ryan Gosling.
It's Titus Welliver. I know it.
Titus does watch this show, so
he might probably watch
actually. Yes.
I'll drop Bobby off at your house, Titus. Later today.
See you soon.
Bye.
Have some ham.
Mm-hmm.
I like ham.
So, you guys, this has been such an awesome show. We have to ask you the question, though, that we ask every Spooktacular guest that's on the
Me
show.
or him?
Both of you.
I scare really easy.
Okay. This question isn't very scary.
Okay.
Okay. What is your favorite Halloween candy?
I got scared for a second. Oh, my favorite Halloween candy. The first thing that came to mind was steak and cheese.
I mean, when I was growing up, there was this house up the hill that had like a long driveway, but they always had steak and cheese sandwiches. If you made the trek,
That was
it was
my
definitely
house.
out of the way.
I grew up there.
Um,
Yeah, I made the steak and cheese sandwich.
That's a great thing to give children in
It's a
a
great thing.
plastic costume.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love that food. I was always really happy with like Snickers.
Peanut butter cups.
That's been like the most common answer throughout all of our guests.
Do you ask this on every show, even when it's not a spooktacular?
We asked starting like the day of Spooktacular.
Oh, great.
So yeah. But we should ask this.
I think it
question
should be an all year round.
All
thing,
year
okay?
round is like, what's your favorite candy? You're not allowed on the set until.
Favorite candy? I have a.
Favorite candy or favorite Halloween candy?
Oh,
Or
those
candy to get when you go trick or treating.
Oh,
Because
that's
they're very
specified.
different.
That's very true.
Because you could have a favorite candy that you would never get. My favorite candy could be
people don't hand out
cotton dollar
scoreboards.
bills. I don't even know what that is, but I'm sure they're out there somewhere. But I don't get them on
Well,
Halloween.
yeah, like you don't get those like sugar sticks from the
You
general
never get
store.
Toblerones
That's true.
on Halloween. I'm gonna start handing out full airport,
The airport ones,
duty
the
free
jumbo
Toblerones, 8-pound candy bars to a little kid. That would be dope.
Just like boom.
If we're gonna talk about it,
we're gonna get into this. We're gonna get
white
into
chocolate Toblerone.
Is your favorite?
No, that's the worst thing. This goes to a pretty wide audience, right? There's
Yeah.
got to be somebody out there who works for Toblerone.
Yeah.
Just cut that crap out.
Make the other ones bigger.
Yeah, make them bigger.
More
Absolutely.
toffee.
More toffee.
I like Heath bars.
I like Heath bars too a lot. I like anything with toffee, to be honest.
Yeah,
I agree.
score bar. Are you not into score bars?
What about murder with toffee?
Murder with toffee sounds excellent.
It makes everything great.
I don't.
Well, you guys, thank you both so much for coming on the show.
Thank you
This
for
has
having
been
us. We
so
are
much
Murder and
fun.
Toffee.
Murder
Check out our
and
new
Toffee.
cop show, Murder and
Thank you.
Toffee.
So you guys, right now, we know how awesome you guys have been all of Spooktacular. We want to show you how much fun it is to work here at Sideshow, how much fun we have for everything that we do, including Halloween. So right now, to end the show, happy Spooktacular, happy Halloween. We have most people out here who are going to parade through. These are all Sideshow staff members who came in costume today. We just wanted to show you guys how cool it is to work here. And we love you all so much. Thank you for playing Spooktacular all week. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to let your geek side show. Woo! Awesome. And welcome back to Sideshow Live. We are here with voice acting legend Steve Blum.
You're
here. So in case you guys are unaware of who Steve is, he's basically voiced every character in your childhood, from Spike to Zeb. Actually, that's a pretty good, like, I mean, that's my childhood anyway. It's like Spike to Zeb.
That's all that really matters in this room.
I mean, you just need to keep going because I'm never gonna grow up. Like
I'm not either.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. We're all like, you know, we all have massive Peter Pan syndrome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the best kind, because we get things like this, the most amazing Starscream.
I'm an 8-year-old in an old man suit and proud
Yeah.
of it.
Yes, that's how we should all describe ourselves from now on. I love
Absolutely.
it. So right now we have some questions from the audience that are
Good.
coming in.
Bring it.
Casey Huff would like to know how often you are recognized by just your voice.
Not as often as you might think. It's happening more often nowadays because people have seen me on camera, and it was something I avoided for a very long time. But when it usually happens is in the grocery store, if I'm up at the register and I'm just talking to the cashier, and somebody next to me in line will all of a sudden, I'll just see like a facial tick. And they can't quite place where they know it from.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll be out in the parking lot putting the groceries away, and all of a sudden somebody will come screaming out, they go through the mental Rolodex, and it takes a while. So it's kind of fun having that happen rather than being recognized all the time.
Yeah.
Because then I have a private life.
That's true.
It's kind of cool.
That's true. Yeah. That's amazing. So, someone whose username is bad at gaming. Is that me?
I could
Did
have
I
that
do that?
username
Because I could
too.
have that
Yeah.
username too.
Yeah.
I'm bad at gaming. What is the most demanding or difficult voice you've ever done?
That's tough. There's so many that hurt. Wolverine is one of the tougher ones.
Really?
Just because I don't have that same healing factor. And he starts here, which feels kind of good, but it never lasts long. He gets irritated very quickly. And so usually for most of those sessions, I'm going, I'm doing all that feral crap.
Uh-huh.
And I literally feel like everything is bleeding internally when I finish.
Is there something that you do to like take care of your voice? I mean, I'm sure, obviously, but
there are some things that you can do, and
But-
I have like Chinese herbal throat drops, and I've got sprays and teas, and I sleep and I drink a lot of water. There's all the regimen that helps that stuff.
yeah. But at the end of the day,
Once you do the damage, you just got to heal,
Yeah.
and it just takes time. So when I'm performing Wolverine, I try to do it on Friday at the end of the day, so I have the whole weekend to recuperate.
Oh,
So,
that's smart.
Yeah. Calling the professor and trying to get that healing
That's
factor
true.
activated again. My subscription ran out.
Moose Palace. Sorry, it's different than Moose Place. This is a Moose Palace.
Either one sounds fun. I want to go there.
No, Steve, what inspired you to start a career in voice acting?
Oh, I did it by accident. I was working at a film studio called Empire Entertainment, which there's a connection there.
Yep.
Have we already revealed that? With the
Nope.
The thing?
Oh yeah.
The trivia thing?
The
Yeah,
trivia
okay.
question.
Okay, so I can spoil
You can
this.
Spoil the trivia question.
Yeah, I was working at this film studio called Empire Entertainment, and we made movies like Reanimator and Ghoulies and stuff like that. And I was working in the mailroom, and the head of the mailroom was casting a Japanimation program, and it was called The Guyver, and he needed somebody that could do a creature voice, and I happened to have the deepest voice in the mailroom, and I tried out for it. I had no acting experience, but they offered me free breakfast and lunch, and that's really the only thing that got me there on a weekend to try out for this thing.
I mean, yeah.
And I had a natural ability because of some musical training prior to that to match the lip flaps in anime. And I just did it for fun on the weekend for years until eventually I was an executive at that same film company. Became Full Moon Entertainment later on. And I realized that I just hated going to work every day because it had changed. It was becoming much more corporate. And I booked a 7-Eleven commercial. And that was it. I was the guy who said, "Oh, thank heaven." And that was it. I quit my job after 15 years at the film company and went into it full time, and then starved for like 3 years, but kept doing it because I loved it. It's the one thing that I did with all the other jobs that I had in all those years that made me happy. I just loved doing voice work. But the side note to that that actually ties back into Transformers is that the guy who was our biggest star at Empire at that time, his name is Jeffrey Combs. He played Dr. Herbert West in Reanimator and in a bunch of our other films too. He was the big star at Empire at that time, and I was a PA. I was the guy who was cleaning the condoms out of the parking lot. And Jeff, I just remember I was there for the photo shoot for Reanimator for the big movie release. And we had the head on the desk and everything, and Jeffrey came in, and he was so kind to every single person on that crew. And cut to years and years and years later, we're working side by side. He was playing Ratchet in Transformers Prime. And I'm working side by side with him as an actor. I got to tell him this, and I got to say, you were one of the few big celebrities that I met way back then who was really nice, and I remembered that. And those are the people I like to surround myself with.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
So, yeah, big kudos to Jeffrey for being such an awesome
that's
human
sweet.
being. Yeah.
So this is a really crazy follow-up question. If you could pick 2 people that you have voice acted with to form a wrestling team, who would you pick?
Fred Tatasciore.
I was like, he didn't even think about that one.
No, because I just hide behind him.
Yeah.
And who else? Wow, wrestling. That would be tough. That I have personally voice acted with?
That you have personally voice acted with.
Oh, man. That's so hard. God, I'm thinking about the fighters now. Who do I know?
I was going to be like, Mary.
Oh, Mary. Yeah, she's a lover, not a fighter, though.
But I feel like she'd be great on your team.
Yeah, she would, because she plays dirty.
Yes. She's scrappy.
Yeah, she's very
but
scrappy.
She is. She's a sweetheart. She'd be a great person to have to be like, yeah, go, yeah.
Oh, Freddie Prinze Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because Freddie's a badass fighter.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
He'd be great. I'd hide behind him, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just pick 2 people you'd hide behind.
That'd be our team.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I would just hide behind and taunt in very deep voices. Maybe sweep a leg occasionally.
That's amazing. Yeah. Steve, do you ever find yourself in a character's voice without intending to?
All the time.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mary and I greet each other in ridiculous voices. I mean, we don't see each other sometimes for days because we're both working so much, and I'll walk into the house and I'll just go, Papa! I'll just hear on the other side of the house, Papa! It starts there and it just goes.
That's amazing.
It's like that all the
time.
Oh
my God.
Yeah. We just can't help it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I slip into Guillermo and just accidentally, I can't help it.
Yeah, it's a.
I just liked when there was a
brain
Wolverine PF in the building one time, and you just walked up to it and started talking to it like Wolverine, and we were like, Andy and I were just sitting there going,
What's happening?
What is happening right now?
Yeah,
this is amazing.
I can't help it.
Don't scare him. He'll stop.
It's an involuntary reflex. I have animals in the house too. I talk to them. Every single one of them has a different voice and a different personality. I think that's how
that's fair. I mean, my cat has a different voice than my voice, except he sounds like he just sounds like a kid.
So I want to hear your cat's voice.
Oh, my cat's voice is just like, he just whines. So it's like, he's like, feed me, I want food. Like he just sounds like me, but a whiny brat kid.
I love that.
Oh, he's like, Mom, I want food. That's how he talks.
Well, see, now that's a completely different character, though.
Mm-hmm. No, he is. He's a total...
You too could create a career in voiceover. Go to bloomvoxstudios.com and do that.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, just make a little whiny cat voice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it begins.
Yeah. Just so you all know, Starscream is live on our website right now. He's available at side.show/PCS Starscream.
I'm right here.
And he's right here.
You speak as though I'm not in the room.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Steve, what character that you've previously played would you like the opportunity to play again?
Starscream, Wolverine, Jamie from Megas XLR. Very few people talk about that. If you don't know Megas XLR, we did this show that was dedicated to the fandom of everything that's giant robots and anime and everything awesome in the nerddom universe. We had all these little references all sprinkled throughout the show, and they didn't know what to do with the show. It was a Cartoon Network show at the time, and it ended up as a sacrificial lamb to, I think they needed a tax write-off or something. So the show ended way before its time. So if you get a chance and you can find it out there, check out Megas XLR. So Jamie from that show, and Green Goblin from Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah, I would have loved to see that show continue too.
That was a great show. I liked that version of Spider-Man a lot.
It was.
I'm very picky about my versions of Spider-Man.
You should be, yes.
Because there's a lot out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great show while it was around.
It was, and it was a super fun character to play too.
Which Transformers character do you relate to the most?
Oh, wow, that's a tough one. not just because I've embodied that for so long, Starscream, because Starscream is really a good choice for me because it's a devious, ridiculous, aholic side of me that I don't put out there in the world. Can I say that here?
Yeah.
Okay. That I don't put out in the world that all of us have internally.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
There is that selfish side that we all have. But I could do that, I could let that out in the form of Starscream and in a safe environment. And it was done with love and sort of a grain of salt. And so it was sort of therapeutic for me to play that character. So
Okay.
I was the right guy for that role, I think.
Well, obviously, I mean, his legacy also.
Yeah.
When the daughter of the man who, yeah.
Whether she meant it or not, I melted. Yeah, it was amazing.
I'm sure she didn't either.
Amazing.
Do you prefer voice acting with other actors in the room, or do you prefer recording your lines on your own?
I love to work with other actors. It's so much fun. We're, as you know, you've met so many of us that we are a big, happy, dysfunctional family.
It's
we
amazing.
love each other. We go on holiday together. D. Bradley Baker and I have spent time up at Skywalker Ranch together and hung out. We choose to do stuff together as a family. We're playing D&D together.
I was gonna say you have like your own D&D thing, and then
D&D thing, yeah.
And then the cast of Rebels got together to play a Star Wars RPG.
Yes, we did.
So that was amazing too.
Yeah, and we choose to do that stuff because we're friends. We didn't know if that would go anywhere.
Right.
We just got together because we really love hanging out together, and we feed off of each other's energy, and we laugh our asses off.
Oh yeah, you guys are hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, any chance we have to work together is always a good day.
That's awesome. That's like our little Sideshow family too.
I can feel that here.
Yeah, we all like being around each other.
I was saying earlier, I just want to come live here.
Yeah,
this place is amazing.
You're part of the family now. You can come live here too.
Whether you guys like it or not. I've moved in.
What were some of your favorite TV shows and movies while you were growing up?
Oh man, I'm a really old guy, so I watched things like Gilligan's Island when I was a kid, and Love Boat, and
that doesn't make you really old. I watched those too.
Marx Brothers, Three Stooges. How about that? That goes a little bit older.
I know those as well. I watched those too. Those my dad showed me, but Gilligan's Island I totally watched.
Yeah, Monty Python.
Monty Python.
Yeah, Flying Circus. I loved the comedy shows more than anything else. I wasn't a huge fan of drama stuff, and I love sci-fi too. Star Trek was my jam.
Star Trek's
original
still my jam.
Star Trek, yeah.
Oh my god.
I loved all that. Star Wars movies.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
The Star Wars.
I was a little
movies.
older. I was
How
in
does
high
that
school.
feel? Like now that you're like canon in the Star Wars universe.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
'Cause I was 17 years old when the first Star Wars movie came out, and I was this apathetic youth who hated everything, hated everyone, didn't even go to my own graduation for high school. But Star Wars came out that summer, or May of just as school was ending. Okay. And I remember walking to that theater not knowing what to expect, and just the first time the cruiser comes across the screen and the whole room rumbles, I went, oh my God, I care about something again.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I've carried that sensory feel with me all these years. And when we got to work, I worked on a lot of Star Wars projects before Rebels happened. But when Rebels happened and I read that first script, it brought back all that sensation of just kind of waking up inside again. And it was written so well and so with such reverence to the fan base that we were continuing that story. And that it was so amazing to be part of that. It was like getting a second shot at childhood.
I was just like, you saying like, oh, I feel something again. That's kind of what that, like Clone Wars and Rebels does for a new generation.
It does, yeah. And now Resistance, too.
Yeah, and now Resistance.
Is going to be a gateway for a whole different generation.
I know, and that's the generation, oh man.
That may or may not like the old movies.
Right.
Who knows, yeah.
Because that generation, like their Jedi isn't Luke, their Jedi's Rey. So the Resistance is a whole different base that they're coming from.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And I love to think about that. I love to think about that there are generations, plural, of Star Wars fans who each can take away from it what they will.
You see them dressing up at cons, from babies to 90-year-olds. It's amazing. Sometimes all in the same family.
Yeah,
it's
yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes, it's amazing. Do you guys voice your D&D characters?
Yes, we do.
I had to ask that one.
Yes, we do. The one that we did with the Star Wars group, I did a droid, And I did him sort of as a Harvey Fierstein kind of thing. It was ridiculous. We have those on YouTube. You should check that out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, so that one was
Wait,
really
what
fun.
kind of droid?
He was a medical droid.
Okay.
But he had,
all right.
but he was kind of put together from some spare parts and stuff. So he had syringes and knives and scalpels and things hanging off of his hands. And he had this this bowl in the middle of him that I'm not sure what the original intention was, but we had this giant fight with a giant squid and fish and stuff, and he ended up with a fish in his chest, who he named, and there's a whole story that goes
Oh my
with
god.
this guy. You gotta,
go watch this on YouTube.
Yeah, go check this out on
This
YouTube.
is
It's
crazy.
ridiculous. So all of us did voices, and we destroyed the Star Wars universe. So I'm sorry, Lucas. But they loved it.
amazing.
And then in our home game, I'm playing a character called, well, before I tell you what the character's name is, it's based on a character from Dragon Age, from the video game.
Oh my god.
I played a character on that called Ogren, and he used to call people ass chabs. And so I named my D&D character Azure Chabs. And he kind of talks like him, and he's drunk all the time. And he has a girlfriend named Gladys who happens to be a wild boar.
Of course he does. Why wouldn't he?
and it is a physical relationship, in case you're wondering. So yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, we definitely give voice to our characters.
That's so good.
It's stupid.
So was there a challenging voice that you almost could not do?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Usually the higher pitched ones I'm a little hesitant to try out for, just because I don't know if I can sustain it if I've had a rough day. There was a character in Digimon called Poramon. He was like this little pink floating puff.
And Poramon spoke like this. So there was one day that I was coming from a Wolverine session, and I had to go do Poramon immediately afterwards.
And I had come in from screaming my guts out just before I went there, and I tried to do this, and that came out. So Mary was directing that show at the time.
She was like, wow.
And she actually said, you know what? You're excused for the day. I can't use you. So that was a little tough. Yeah, sometimes with those high-pitched characters, it's a little dicey for me. The lower-pitched ones are usually okay, because even if I've got some damage, it just goes deeper, and it's okay. I can usually recover from that.
That's amazing. Wow. You guys, thank you so much, Steve, for
It's
coming
over?
in. I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We're just getting started.
I want to hear about your life now. What's happening in your life?
Oh my god. No,
I know,
we're
okay.
good. We're good. The audience has seen so much of me over the past week. We can catch up over lunch. How about that?
Oh, okay. But you guys never get tired of her, right?
Oh,
I don't.
geez.
I love you. I have so much fun every time we get together.
Yes, we have so much fun every time we get together.
Oh, we
it's
do.
amazing.
We
It's
do.
awesome.
I know.
And then I felt like a jerk when I saw you in New York because I kept cutting your line. So if
That-
you were in Steve's line in New York, I apologize.
That was one of the happiest things
I know,
to see
but we
you guys.
we were like, and then I was like, I'm sorry, everybody. You guys want to talk to? I'm sorry.
She's
Okay.
family. They understand. They understand.
Okay. You guys, so check out bloomboxstudios.com for everything
Yes.
Steve related.
Yes, please.
And then head on over to his Facebook group and join that awesome community
Yes,
over
which
there.
is just the Bloombox Studios Facebook community.
Bloombox Studios Facebook community.
Yeah.
It's so positive and so wonderful, you guys. So please join up over there, and then you can ask Steve all the other questions that maybe you didn't get to ask on the show. So right now, head on over to side.show/PCS Starscream, and you can pre-order Starscream right now. Thank you so much, Steve, for
Thank
being
you
on
for
the
having
show.
me.
You're amazing.
Buy the Starscream. It's beautiful.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sideshow Live. We have such a special guest here today, coming off his latest book release from our friends over at Inside Editions. We have in the studio Mr. William Stout. Hello! Hi! Thank you so much for joining us today. It is so awesome to have you here. How are you?
Thanks for having me, Susan. I'm great. I'm so excited to be out promoting this book because it covers my whole career, 50 years.
I have had a chance to flip through it. It's beautiful. I'm
thank you.
so excited that this is coming out. It's just stunning.
Inside did an amazing job. It's got big fold-outs, and I've never seen my work reproduced so faithfully. The color is just spot on. It's just incredible.
Wow. Oh, I love that. So just a little bit about William. You are a very talented artist, and you have you've done work that ranges from storyboards to production design, and you've done exhibitions and album covers, and you've even had work in the Smithsonian and the British Museum.
Yes.
Wow. So even with all of that on your resume, your specialty is paleontological art.
That's one of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just one of them? How many others?
Well, the way the book is arranged is 12 chapters, and
Mhm.
each chapter is on a different aspect of my career. So there's a chapter on comics, chapter on my film design, chapter on theme park design, chapter on Antarctica, where I've spent a lot of time.
I read about that.
Chapter on dinosaurs
And album covers, because you did for
there's
the
a whole
Rolling
music-
Stones.
Whole music chapter, yeah.
It's
Rolling
crazy.
Stones and the Ramones and the Who and
Just those little bands that, you know, no big deal. That's so amazing. I was looking at them and I was like, I have that Rolling Stones album. So I just went,
And I was still doing it. I got a call from Dubai the other day. It was Cat Stevens. He said, you probably don't realize this. My son gave me a copy of your blues book. I did a book called Legends of the Blues.
Mhm.
He said, that's how I learned how to play, listening to Big Bill Broonzy and Lead Belly and all those guys. He said, would you consider doing my next album cover? It's got a lot of blues on it. And I said, heck yeah. So that album cover is in the book too.
oh my God. I'm like not going to cry. I swear. Cat Stevens is my all-time favorite artist.
He's so incredible.
All-time favorite artist.
He was so
Okay.
sweet and down to earth.
I'm not going to cry. I'm fine. I'm fine. We have a lot of questions from
Okay,
the audience.
great.
So if you want to just get right into it.
Oh yeah, let's dive in.
Awesome. Okay. Wow. First off, we're getting asked, you mentioned all of your Antarctic paintings that you
Right.
did for that exhibition. Is there a place that that people can see them still?
I've got a few of them on my website, williamstout.com. Most of them right now, the tour is over. They're in my studio. I'm still working on them. You know, a funny thing happened when I was working on that project. I used to subscribe to what I call the Pinball School of Career Planning, where boing, boing, just bounce all over the place.
I understand that.
And then
very
when
well.
I was doing the Antarctic paintings, I had a feeling come over me that this is what you were meant to do. And I didn't have that urge to do something different after that. I had an urge to just keep doing more of these.
Oh, wow.
So I created a goal of doing 100 oil paintings of Antarctica. And that will be for a book, which will be the first visual history of Antarctica.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So-
oh my gosh. So
they
someday,
eventually will be available
all on a
in
book.
one book.
Oh, beautiful. Jessica's asking, has William ever been on a real dinosaur dig before?
I've been on several real dinosaur digs. One of the best was when my Antarctic show was traveling, one of the museums it went to was the Royal Tyrrell Museum in Canada, which is in Drumheller, which is where Dinosaur Provincial Park is. And they called me up because they wanted me to speak at the opening. And they said, you know, if you wanted, we could bring you out a couple of days earlier and you could go on a dinosaur dig in Dinosaur Provincial Park. I said, oh, sign me up right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
wow.
I get there. It was about a 2-hour drive from the museum. And I get there and we're walking to the dig site and I am so antsy, so nervous because I can see I'm walking on dinosaur bones and I'm crushing them. And I'm thinking I'm ruining all this incredible research and all this stuff. And the paleontologist said, it's just a bunch of junk. Wait till you see what we got. And so he took me to the spot and he held his arms out like this. He said, okay, imagine 2 city blocks within right here. We think we've got 20 to 30,000 dinosaur skeletons here. And he handed me a whisk brush. He said, get to work. I go, what, a whisk brush? I'm used to dinosaur digs where you got to chip rocks and it's really hard work and
He's
stuff.
like-
And I'm whisking away sand. And in the first half hour, I find 3 Centrosaurus skulls. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. Then I thought, wait a minute, this is a little too unbelievable. Did they seed these for the new guy? Is this all a joke? Nope. This location is like that. They think that maybe what happened was there was a gigantic flash flood that took an entire dinosaur herd and into the end of a box canyon where everything got piled up, and that's why there's so many skeletons
Oh,
there.
wow. Okay. Because I was
Anyway,
just
so
going to
that
ask,
was-
like, why would there be so many dinosaurs there?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So anyway,
They
that
already
was
know.
a fantastic dinosaur dig.
wow. What has been Mr. Stout's favorite movie to work on?
Oh, favorite movie to work on? Well, the easiest was Masters of the Universe because the production was so screwed up, there's no way I could be late on anything. So
That's
that That was really fun. It was fun working with Guillermo on Pan's Labyrinth.
Joe Lombardo wants to know if you have any memories from Pan's Labyrinth or stories you'd like to tell.
Yeah, well, my involvement with Pan's Labyrinth was actually pretty minimal. Guillermo said he couldn't afford me for more than a week because it was a low-budget little Spanish film. But I got to tell you, what happened was I have a lot of mutual friends who are friends with Guillermo. And they all kept saying the same thing. Bill, you got to meet Guillermo. You two will hit it off. You're like two peas in a pod. It's unbelievable. But somehow we just kept missing each other. But my friend Frank Darabont, who directed Shawshank Redemption, he used to throw a party every Thursday at Comic-Con at the best restaurant in San Diego, invite all his favorite artists, and sometimes some of his director friends too. So he invited me and he invited Guillermo, and he placed us so we were sitting opposite each other.
Smart man.
We did hit it off. He came into my booth the next day and bought a couple paintings from me. And he said, would you mind delivering these to my home? I said, not at all. He says, I got a little project I want to talk to you about. So I drove over to his home, and he began to talk to me about Pan's Labyrinth, my working on Pan's Labyrinth. And in the middle of that, he gets a phone call. So I hear his end of it, which is, oh, hello. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so pleased. This is great. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I am so honored. I am so honored, but I'm sorry. I will have to pass. I need to make my little Spanish film now. And he hung up. I go, Guillermo, what was all that about? He said, oh, it's Warner Brothers. They just offered me Harry Potter. And I went, whoa, whoa, boy.
Wow, think about a different Harry Potter would have been.
Just shot way up. That he blew off the Harry Potter franchise to make his little Spanish film.
Oh, wow.
That so impressed me. I thought, man, this guy's, he's the real deal.
Yeah, man, and now he's an Oscar-winning director.
Yes.
So that's, wow, that's amazing. So we have a couple people asking if you're a fan of Jurassic Park.
You know, funny thing, I received a mysterious package in the mail one day, and the note on top said, read this, but don't look at the last page until you've read the whole thing. I go, what is this? And so I start reading it, and I'm going, wow, this is an amazing story. This is fantastic. And wow, this would be an incredible movie. I mean, I should really be the designer for this because it's dinosaurs. I'm the dinosaur guy, and I even know who all the characters are. The real people that he based the characters on is Jack Horner, you know, and stuff. And theme parks, I just spent 3 years designing theme parks for Disney. And I get to the very last page of this preview copy, it hadn't even been published yet, of Jurassic Park. And there's Michael Crichton's acknowledgement to me as being an inspiration for the book. And I thought, I am so screwed. Because there's an axiom in Hollywood, which is the more perfect you are for a project, the less likely it is that you will do it.
Oh.
But that was
the whole room went, oh.
It was the only film I ever actually tried to get, which is another Hollywood taboo. You never try for anything, because if they think you're interested in it, then they don't want to give it to you. So, but I did have lunch with the production designer of Jurassic Park, Rick Carter, every 2 weeks, and I fed him stuff to put into the movie.
Very cool. That's awesome. So then a follow-up question to this, if you could bring back one dinosaur, what would you bring back? First, would you bring it back?
Yes, I would, because I am dying to see what a Tyrannosaurus Rex really looks like. I mean, we think we know, but it could be so different. It could be outrageous colors. In China, they found a tyrannosaur had a big plume on the end of its tail. Do all tyrannosaurs have big plumes on the end of their tails? I want to know.
Yeah. And then we were talking, because my favorite dinosaur is the Stegosaurus, and we were talking about how they thought the tail was incorrect at one point, and you were telling...
For many years, we didn't really know what Stegosaurus looked like. We had pieces of Stegosaurus. We had enough pieces to make a whole Stegosaurus, but how were the plates arranged on the back? Were they 2 rows of single plates? Was it 1 single roll of plates? Was it alternating plates?
Yeah.
We didn't know. And then a few years ago, they were doing a new highway construction project, and they found 2 what they call roadkill stegosaurs, completely intact skeletons with everything in place. And they found out that the plates on the spine alternated and slightly overlapped, going all the way down the spine. But what really surprised them was the tail, because we previously they had mounted the spikes on the tail like this. Well, if you think about it, that's not very effective as a weapon if you get hit like that. But if they were on the sides of the tail like that and they swung it, you would get stuck. On top of that, they discovered something they had no idea about, which was that the Stegosaurus had its throat completely covered with silver dollar-sized bony plates, almost like chainmail to protect the throat. So this is my interpretation of that. I'll put this up here. And so you can see the little bony throat there and the alternating plates and the spikes coming out the side of the tail.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
So
I
this is one of my pieces for Dinosaur, yeah.
Didn't cry. Almost cried, didn't cry. Oh my gosh, one of the pieces for Dinosaur.
My crying thing is if I watch It's a Wonderful Life. I've seen it so many times now, I cry in anticipation of the next scene.
I have movies like that too, definitely.
Pre-cry.
He pre-cries.
Yeah.
He definitely pre-cries. The username Toy Medic wants to know where has been your favorite adventure? What was your favorite place to visit? I think besides Antarctica, because that was clearly a
hands
clear
down
favorite.
Antarctica. Oh gosh, I loved traveling all over the Yucatan.
Wow.
And when I was in Prague, I took a 5-hour bus trip to a little tiny village in the Czech Republic to see Alphonse Mucha's Slav epic murals. They had all the originals there. And I could get this close to the murals and look at them.
Oh my God.
I was literally pinching myself because I thought, well, this has to be a dream. This can't be real that I'm actually seeing these after all these years. But it was real.
Oh my God.
So.
Wow, so you're not kidding, like real adventures. These are like once in a lifetime experiences.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Another great one was Patagonia, the southern tip of South America. I went to both Argentinian Patagonia and Chilean Patagonia. And I rented a car and drove over 1,000 miles because they still have forests of araucaria trees, known here monkey puzzle trees, which existed, were abundant in the Cretaceous. So it's very difficult to find them in their natural setting. So here were entire national parks I could go to and take photos of, so I could use those in my reconstructions.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Wow. Okay. Do you have any dream projects in the back of your mind that you still would like to work on someday?
Sure. Well, my most requested book is a book on all my music-related art. In the mid-1970s, I did a series of 45 bootleg record album covers, and music collectors are anxious to have those collected all in one source, and I would have that along with all my regular stuff. I think the most important book I will do of my career will probably be my book on the history of life of Antarctica.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a real solid book, and hopefully Antarctica will still be around by the time that book comes out. It's melting really quickly, and the ice over the center of Antarctica is so heavy and so thick it has pushed the landmass underneath it down below sea level. So when that melts, Antarctica is going to be 2 islands, East Antarctica and West Antarctica.
Oh wow.
And
that's
it's rapidly melting.
I did not know that. Oh my gosh. Wow, they're asking about your favorite of these statues behind you. We've decorated the set for William Stout. We put our Dinosauria line behind us. So we have so many of these pieces are just completely unavailable because our Dinosauria line was incredibly popular with all of us who grew up with dinosaurs and dinosaur fans. So do you have a favorite of the Dinosauria collection?
I love this one back here, the sauropod being attacked by the allosaurs. There are other allosaurs or ceratosaurs, because it's just so dynamic, full of action. As a production designer on films, I often hire a lot of sculptors, and what I look for in a sculpture is, does it look good from every angle? Not just the one key angle that you see in the ads, but it should look good no matter where you stand.
Absolutely.
And boy, that's something that Sideshow does better than anybody.
Thank you. Oh, wow. That's all the questions that we have. I just kind of we should do story time sometime. Just hang out. William Stout can come hang out, tell us about his adventures, Adventures with William Stout. We can mock up the Indiana Jones-esque logo. You worked on Raiders, so it's on theme. But
so should I tell my favorite showbiz story?
Sure. Okay. There we go. Let's end with your favorite showbiz story.
Okay. I was working on the remake of Invaders from Mars, script by Dan O'Bannon, who I had worked with on Return of the Living Dead. The director was Tobe Hooper.
Jeff? Yeah, I know.
So-
Jeff.
So we had contacted the United States Air Force about loaning us equipment and gear for the film, and we hadn't heard back from them, and the shooting date was starting to loom, and I was getting nervous. So finally, I just called them up. I said, you know, the Air Force is going to help us out with the making of our motion picture, and the guy said, no, I'm sorry, the United States Air Force cannot cooperate in the making of your film. I said, why? You guys are the heroes. You're the good guys, the military. You saved the day. You killed the Martians. What's the downside? And he said, it is the official position of the United States Air Force that there are no Martians and there are no UFOs. I said, seriously?
This is a
That's
movie.
your excuse?
That's like,
That's, oh my.
they knew that it was fake, right?
Couldn't believe it. It's like, oh, what are we going to do? Well, our storyboard artist, Keith Crosley, hands me a card. He says, call this guy. And it had a name of a guy, and it said, United States Marine Corps Public Relations Liaison Officer. So I called him up. He said, well, send me a script. And I said, I will message you a script. I'll have a messenger over there within 2 hours. You'll have the script. Because we were getting tense. And the next day, I didn't wait any longer than a day. I called him up. I said, did you read the screenplay? He said, yes, I did. I said, so the Marine's going to help us out? He said, you will have the full cooperation of the United States Marine Corps in the making of your motion picture. I said, so there's no problem with the Marine Corps' position on Martians and UFOs? He said, son, it is the official position of the United States Marine Corps that the United States Marines have no qualms whatsoever about killing Martians.